Carl again, Have a Go Homesteader, and today we're having a go at making herbal extracts. We're going to make a mint extract. Now when it comes to extracts, there's lots of different methods, lots of different ways you can do it. They're all extracts. Whatever you might hear, they're all extracts, because the word extract means we're extracting something. We're extracting the flavour and oils usually from the herbs. Now we're going to be using mint. I've got just here a load of peppermint and here a load of spearmint, just harvested from the garden. And we're going to be using these to make a herb extract, a mint extract. Now, we're going to be making a type of mint extract. We're going to be making a tincture. Now, a tincture, according to the organic growers school, is an extract made using alcohol. Now, you don't have to use alcohol to make your extract, but if you do, then it's called a tincture. Pretty simple, really. So there's loads of different terms and terminology that all refer to the method of extraction. Now, you can make an extract just in water. Now, the slight disadvantage with that, although it will extract a lot of the flavour and other things from the herbs, it's not as shelf stable as when you do it with alcohol. Now, we're going to do it with an alcohol mix, and we're actually going to be using vodka. Now, vodka is as a drink goes, it's fairly high in alcohol. This is around 40% alcohol. You can get it at 50%. So it's like an alcohol and water mix. That's how we look at it. We're not using pure alcohol, which of course you could use. You can also use oils. Now, whatever you're using, you're going to get slightly different results. But for this, it's the simplest way of getting a shelf-stable extract. So that's what we're going to do. So why make a herbal extract? Well, for my case, I want to have mint extract, just as I would buy in the store. I want to be able to use it for flavouring things like ice creams. But there's also loads and loads of medicinal qualities in herbs. So you can make tinctures that are for external or internal use, can be used as flavouring, can be used as natural remedies for different ailments. But like I say, the main use for this, for me, is so that I can have homemade mint extract that I can use to flavour things like ice creams and desserts. So the first thing we need to do is just do what's called garbling. And garbling is basically removing any of the wilted leaves, any of the woodier stems, and getting our plant to the point where we're ready to make our tincture with. The next step will be to chop it up. We want to chop it up quite finely, and then we're going to pop it in a pot. The best way for chopping loose herbs like this is to get them all bundled up nice and tight and try and hold them in that tight shape while you come across them, because otherwise they're just going to bounce all over the chopping board. So here's all my stems that we're going to get rid of, and here is our mint. And this is basically just, you know, the leaves and the tips all chopped up fairly fine. It could be finer, but I'm not too fussed. This is good enough for me. Right, our next job is to find an appropriate jar that's going to be able to have a tight fitting lid and is going to be able to fit all this in, but we want to squeeze it in. So the more we squeeze this into our jar, the less gaps there will be. So if this is really squeezed in tight, it's only going to take a small amount of liquid to fill the jar. So what I'm getting at is ratios. The more this is squeezed in, the more mint to liquid you get. If you imagine I just put a handful in the jar and left it all fluffed up like that, it's going to take quite a lot of our liquid to fill it. Whereas if we squeeze loads of this in, it's going to be less room. So I'm not sure if I'm going to fit it all in this jam jar, but I'm certainly going to give it a go. Yeah, we're going to get it in. Now, alcohol is a fantastic preserver. So we're now going to fill all the gaps in there with our alcohol right up to the top. And as I said, we're going to use vodka. So we're going to crack this open now. And you can see air bubbles coming to the top as the vodka settles down and fills all those gaps. So we're just going to keep filling and filling and filling until we're getting no more bubbles come out. And I've got this bamboo straw, which I'm just going to use to help me make sure that we get all of the air out from underneath. And as we do that, we'll just keep topping it up. And using the straw really makes a big difference. If you look, as I poke this down, you'll see bubbles coming up to the top. So we're just going to keep going like that until we don't see any more air. And the reason it's important, obviously, to get all the air out is because those air pockets, that's where bacteria are potentially going to be able to live and multiply. But to be perfectly honest, the alcohol is going to do a fantastic job of preserving this, because we use alcohol in a medicinal setting, don't we, to clean wounds. So, you know, rubbing alcohol, that's what it does. So this really is going to be pretty sterile. But we're going to try and get the alcohol right up to the top before we pop our lid on. There we go. Done. So what we might do over the next 2 or 3 days is just give this a shake, try and get more air to the top, and over the course of a few days, just open it, top it up with a bit more alcohol. But other than that, that is done. We're absolutely done. Now, the last thing we're going to do before we put this on the shelf is just write on the label. We're going to put today's date and what's in here, because a herb extract like this wants to sit on the shelf for at least 2 weeks, and ideally up to 6 before you use it. So what we'll do at that point is we'll just strain this into a cheesecloth. We'll obviously capture all the liquid because that's going to be our extract, and then we'll strain out that cheesecloth. Now, at which point you've got a choice. You can taste a little bit, see if it's strong enough for you, and if not, you can just repeat the process with the same liquid. You can do that as many times as you like. Now, the last thing to say, it's November now, it's mid-November. This is probably one of the poorer times to be doing this, because in the spring and summer, your herbs are going to have much more goodness in them, much more of the essential oils and all those things that you want to extract. So really doing this in the spring or summer would be more effective and even better. But now's when I'm doing it, because it's now when I want to do it. So we're doing it now in November. And of course, we can use some of those spring herbs to make our tincture even stronger in spring, if that's what we want to do. So there you go. That is our mint extract, or it will be in a few weeks. We're going to pop that on the shelf now and leave that to do its thing. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Please make sure you do all those good things. Press that like button, leave me a comment down below, subscribe to my channel if you're not already. We'll be back really soon with more Have a Go Homesteader homestead projects. Cheers.